I like, click, subscribe, do all that. You know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This movie's called The Ice Road. To save a team of miners trapped underground, a down on his luck ice road trucker joins a mission across treacherous terrain to deliver rescue equipment. So it's an action adventure film. It just came out. It's an hour 48 minutes long. Spoiler alert. Let's get it. So you got these truckers that drive down these ice roads and these missions. Because of how you have to judge the ice and because of this, most of the time it's so flimsy, they're basically called suicide missions. We got a bunch of miners in a cave. I'm not sure exactly what they're digging for. Apparently one of the triggers were off, and it's supposed to alert the miners of concentration to methane. And out the blue, this one trucker comes around. A bomb goes off and blows up the whole side of the mountain. Like, what the fuck? Whoever that trucker was fell to his death. As the owners of the mining company looking to see what the fuck is going on. The miners heard a commotion to try to get the fuck out. Some of them got out, but another explosion hit. This guy Winfrey's the boss. He's concerned about all the commotion. So like I said, some of the miners got out, some of the miners got stuck inside because some of the rocks had closed the exit way. And out the blue, we got this dude named Mike. Liam Neeson having ass. And he's got a brother named Gertie. Now Gertie has a handicap. Of course, you gotta have that one asshole that has to make fun of somebody that's especially a handicap. Yeah, he calls him the R word. You know Mike ain't standing for that shit. Now Gertie's an engineer and Mike drives trucks. And because of Mike's actions, they both end up getting fired. Now because of emissions coming up, he wants to send Gertie into a psychic evaluation. Gertie doesn't want to do it because he feels like something's off, but Mike reassures him everything's all good and gravy. Then Willard gets a call from the higher ups, complaining about the methane gas pods. Yeah. And he tries to reassure him everything's under control. So the thing is, they need a team to get a drill there, a 26-ton drill, so they can get the miners out. But traveling with those trucks across thin ice, they think is impossible. So then they get this guy named Tilly to call Lawrence Fishburne, aka Don't Call Him Larry, to get a team together and make it happen. Dipset rapper Cameron told this story one day. He met Lawrence Fishburne and he was like, yo, look, don't call that man Larry. He hates that shit. Tully calls the government and he makes the shit happen. Mike goes back to the hospital to check on Gertie, and he finds out the doctor has him taking depressant pills, you know, codeine and all this other shit. He tries to explain to him that Gertie has PTSD. He said that's fine, but there's no reason to be supplying him medicine and all that shit. So he gets his brother and gets him the hell up out of there. They fuel up at the gas station, and Gertie shows him this brochure about this Kenilworth truck that he always wanted. So basically, while they're on the road, they're heading towards Lawrence Fishburne's place of business. But he's got to get this chick out of jail named Tanu, who's another trucker that used to work for Lauren for 2 years. Now the reason why she's always in jail is because they've been locking her up because she's been protesting about the land or some shit. Now they had their problems, the reason why Lauren fired her, but she's all the way in because her brother is one of the miners that are stuck in the landmine, in the shaft. Meanwhile, we found out 8 miners and died. There's only 26 of them left. And they're all struggling for oxygen. They probably got about 30 hours at most. Mike and Gertie meet up with Lauren. They give Gertie a trial run. And he's more than efficient at what he does. So now they heard somebody from the outside tapping on the rocks doing Morse code. Telling them about the situation, how many people are in there, how many people are still alive. Then we found out these guys aren't as humble as we thought they were. Basically, they're claiming there's no paper trail. And the company won't go up if we can't save any of the miners. Sounds like they don't give a fuck one way or another. Damn. Got the team all together, they about to rock out. And of course they're gonna be getting paid for this. $200,000 for the entire team. And they're gonna split it 4 ways. Now this guy named Varney doesn't want any of the money because he's there for the insurance. To make sure the trucks are safe and sound and all this other stuff. Now Gertie's got this pet rat. He'll come up later. And now they're driving to get to the miners. Now it's getting to the point where if nobody comes on time, these motherfuckers are gonna try to draw straws. Because they think some people are not gonna last as long as everybody else. So what you gonna do, kill off niggas just to conserve air? God damn. Now as they're driving, Lauren's car starts malfunctioning. Now the thing is, if you drive too fast or too slow over this ice, you're going under. So everybody else is pissed off they have to stop and come back. They're not pissed off at helping, they're pissed off at the fact that it's too dangerous to stop. So while Lauren's trying to get his car operational again, he gets them to tie their rigs to his rig. Unfortunately, while all this is going down, the back part of his rig started sinking in. And somehow the cable got wrapped around his leg. The truck's going down and Lauren's about to go down with it. Unfortunately, they don't have enough time to cut it loose. So Tanu gets to the back and cuts the rope. And Lauren goes down with his rig. He lasted 35 minutes. God damn it. So when they was thinking about who was working on the cars and stuff back at the workshop, they think somebody tampered with his shit. And they had to hurry up and keep going because the ice is starting to crack. They go back and forth and they end up swerving on the side, which is all the way messed up, but fortunately the ice stopped cracking. Probably because of the pressure of the tires being on the ice and seeing how the ice is not on the tires or it's not standing up straight. That's probably why it stopped. But now they gotta find some way to get the vehicle sitting up right. Mike has a conversation with Varney by himself, and he thinks that because of Tanu and Lauren's history, that she might have something to do with it. So Mike confronts Tanu about it, and Tanu pulls out a gun like, oh shit. But then Gertie snuck up from behind and took the gun. So they connect the wire cables and get the cars up right, tells the company about the situation. Meanwhile, as time goes by, the miners are talking about decreasing their numbers. He's like, I know you don't mean what I think you mean. He's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, I ain't taking part in that shit. I'm gonna make sure they get out alive. Meanwhile, Mike and Gertie go and check on the equipment in the back. And this motherfucker Varney closes the door and locks them in the back. Wow, really, dude? And he takes the other rig with Tanu in it. And basically he wants her around so he can have somebody to blame it on. So basically he lied about being part of the insurance company. And he actually works for Willard, the company man. And you dirty as shit. Calls him, gives him a report. Then he pulls out some dynamite, and he's basically going to blow up the other truck. While that's going on, Mike and Gertie pick up this big pipe ready to bust out of the truck. They need to hurry up and do it because the dynamite's there. They get out the truck just in time, throw the dynamite away, and now they gotta get back on the road. But oh shit, they better hurry up for their truck sinks. So they hook up some wire cables to what, I'm not even exactly sure, to get themselves out of the jam. But then the machine breaks loose, breaks off, almost hits Gertie, and the back part of it drops into the ocean. And Gertie ends up falling in, so Mike's gotta go get him. Luckily, he was able to get him out, and he barely survived that shit. So now they're driving with just the rig. Meanwhile, Varney gets to the location to meet up with the bad man. He doesn't care if everybody gets executed, it doesn't matter to him. As far as Tanu go, they go get rid of her and make it look like an accident. Meanwhile, Tanu's brother Cody and the rest of the miners gave a little insight to their situation. Turns out somebody forced them to cut the methamphetamine levels off. It was gonna pay these niggas $100 a day each. So it goes from an accident to looking like a damn setup. So all the miners didn't fully know what was going on, but as far as the higher ups in the corporation, this shit was all planned. Damn, that's crazy. So right when Varney's about to get rid of Tanu, he hears something in the bag, but what he doesn't know is Gertie's pet rat who ends up biting him. And that gave Tanu the opening to hit him with a fire extinguisher. And knocks him right out the truck, but not before he clipped the fuel gauge. So she's calling for anybody for help at this point, and she was able to get Mike on the phone, knowing that he's okay. Then they get chased by some ski-boarding niggas, but the boss don't want them to use their guns on them, but it could turn the whole another fiasco. Like I said before, they don't want no paper trail, none of that shit. So the fight ensues, they fucking people up, Tanu runs out of gas, Varney catches up to her, but she got a gun. And then here comes Mike and Gertie. Varney gets back in the truck trying to make a getaway. Mike says, fuck that shit, and runs him over the cliff. You think he'd be done deal dead after this, right? But somehow this motherfucker survived that shit, and got out on foot and started running, and found himself a snowboard. He picked up some box with some dangerous explosives in it, and set it up in the snow. He somehow happened to get over top of our heroes, but just a while ago he was pushed further down the mountain. How that happened, I had no idea, but Varney blows the thing up and now they got an avalanche, which caused them to get stuck for a little bit. And in the process of this chase and everything that happened, Tanu gets a tree branch stuck in her heart, or in her chest. He wraps it up, puts her in the back seat, got some cables popping, put the cargo in their truck and keep it rolling. Meanwhile, this motherfucker tells his partner that everything's gonna be fine, they can't trace it back to us. Like I said, we ain't got no paper trail. Just once everybody dies, the people can hold their funerals, they will go out like proud heroes and shit. Basically, he ain't shit. Basically, they're back on the road, they're not that far away. So while everybody was in one truck, Varney got in the other truck, is now trying to ram him off the road. Back and forth chase scene is crazy. Then it gets into a fight on the ice. Meanwhile, Tanu and Gertie get to the bridge. The maximum weight is 75,000 pounds. But we know the weight of that truck, including the drill, weighs more than that. Bottom line, it's the only way across. Meanwhile, Mike and Varney get in the car, they still beefing. Pushes him out, he's still hanging. They were putting down tarps, the bridge is damn near about to collapse. Somehow this motherfucker Varney gets on the other side of the car. Mike beats up Varney, puts the car about 60 miles an hour, and jumps out of it. And he does this because the levels of the ice are starting to wave. Yeah. By the time he gets up to see what's happening and runs white into the wave, truck goes down, Varney's dead as shit. While that's going on, they just make it across the bridge, but the truck is sliding backwards. Tanu's trying to get it to go forwards. Gertie stays in the back so he can close off the bridge, but ends up getting his foot caught in there. Get the hell out of there, Gertie. The truck is going backwards. He's trying to get it to lock, but the gate's not locking. Meanwhile, the truck is still sliding. Gertie got the lock in place, but the truck crushed him. Because of that, he ended up dying. Done deal dead. But he saved the rig so they can go save the miners. The rig makes it to the miners, they get the drill in place, and they free everybody. Then the director finds out from the people what the fuck Winfred's been doing. You got caught out there in these streets. Liam Neeson doing Liam Neeson things.
You're disgusting.
He is disgusting. Go ahead, deck that son of a bitch. Get the fuck out of here. They get everybody in medical care, including Tanu. He gets his check. 3 months later, Tanu's working where Lawrence Fishburne used to work at, and Mike gets himself a rig in honor of his brother. He asked his brother what would he name his truck if he ever got one. He said truck, 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 and that's exactly what he named it on the license plate. And he keeps his pet rat on the dashboard. Wow, well, that was something. My question is, what did the bad guys get out of doing this? Would they have gotten more money or something? I'm assuming that would have been the case. The Ice Road on Netflix. Check it out. Like, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. Look, easy, all easy, Mr. Big. Could have got their slogan.